the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, this is Iowa Live.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. It is February the 3rd, and in Iowa, everybody realizes what February the 3rd is, and no person better than Professor Jeff Stein with today's very special installment of the Iowa Almanac. Professor, good to see you.
Lou, it is always a privilege. How are you, sir?
It is great, but this was a day that people remember and forever. If you're into music, you know what February 3rd means.
We think we know the whole story. We know parts of it, but I want to talk about a piece of this that may not be very well known. Of course, we know that early in the morning of February 3rd, 1959, a small plane piloted by Roger Peterson crashed near the Mason City Airport. It killed Peterson and 3 rock and roll stars, Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper, J.P. Richardson. Now, those 3 had performed with others at the legendary Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake the night before. It was part of what was called the Winter Dance Party Tour. Now, we know that part of the story, but I want to talk today, Lou, about Waylon Jennings.
Now, explain to everybody how Waylon Jennings is all part of this story.
Okay, so Waylon and Buddy Holly hung out in Lubbock, Texas. Waylon actually worked at a radio station there. Both of them had bands, and they wound up running into each other at venues and radio shows across the South. They became friends, and Buddy Holly started helping Waylon Jennings produce his songs. Buddy Holly even played backup on some of those recordings, and Holly hired Waylon Jennings to play electric bass for him during that Winter Dance Party Tour. And that, you see, is how they wound up together on that very cold night in Iowa. Now, Buddy Holly chartered a plane for himself, Waylon Jennings, and guitarist Tommy Alsop to take them to the next stop. The idea was to avoid another long ride in a bus that had a broken heater. Well, you see, the Big Bopper had a case of the flu, so Waylon gave him his seat on the plane. When Buddy Holly heard of the switch, he said to Waylon Jennings, "I hope your old bus freezes up." Waylon Jennings then replied, "Well, I hope your old plane crashes." It was very likely, Lou, the last words the two friends exchanged, and those were words which haunted Waylon Jennings for the rest of his life.
Wow. Could you imagine something like that and just a flippant comment like that and then have it come to fruition? I can imagine the agony that he went through over all those years. Now, if that would have happened in today's time, they would have canceled the rest of the tour and things like that, but that wasn't necessarily the case, was it?
No, in fact, they kept going the very next night. They
Wow.
just didn't have those performers who died. So literally, these people had to perform the next night as scheduled, mourning the loss of their friends. That Winter Dance Party Tour continued, including 5 more stops in Iowa the next week: Sioux City, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, and Dubuque. Later, Waylon Jennings said Buddy Holly was the very first person to have faith in his music and therefore became his best friend as a young man. And that made, as you said, their joking, parting words that much sadder when it happened in the early morning hours of this date in 1959.
The day the music died, as Don McLean said so eloquently in American Pie. Boy, I can't believe it's been that many years ago, and there's people that remember that, people that are of age that remember the chill that went through the entire music industry when that happened.
I mean, the headlines across the country, and the thing to keep in mind is these were all young men. What, Ritchie Valens was, I think, 17, Buddy Holly 22, something like that. And when you look at Buddy Holly's body of work to that point, and you realize he only had about, 3 years on the national stage? What a tragic loss, not only for his family, of course, but what music did we not get to experience?
Now, there's a marker on the spot where the plane crashed, if I'm not mistaken, and a giant pair of glasses like Buddy Holly's glasses, too, right?
That's correct. They did mark the place, and it is, in essence, a place where people go and pay homage when they go to visit, as I said, the legendary Surf Ballroom as well.
All right. People want to go back and revisit what we talked about today or anything that happened in Iowa history each and every day of the year. There's a really easy way they can do that.
You bet. IowaAlmanac.com. IowaAlmanac.com. And the photo I posted today, Buddy and Waylon in one of those old-time photo booths. You remember when people would cram in together?
Yeah.
There's a photo of the two of them, jaunty little cigarettes in hand. But you can find that at IowaAlmanac.com.
All right, so now you know a little bit more about the story involving the day the music died. Professor Jeff Stein, we love learning about the state of Iowa and the history associated with it, and we thank you for your time.
It is always a privilege. Have a good day, sir.
All right, you have a great day as well. And folks, you all have a great day. Stay warm, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Another installment of Iowa Live.